sometimes you have to let go of people that are driving you, not driving you forward and holding you back. Letting go of mistakes you have made, because it happens. In just a second ago, I was talking about those decisions, and most of the time you know what the right decision is. And even if you think you know it, it's not going to be the right decision all the time, right? So you're going to have to eventually be able to, own your mistakes and let go.
Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Just sit back, relax, and learn from the leaders of today. It's a journey. Each one is different, unique, inspiring. Let's get started. 20-Minute Leaders is a proud supporter of Make-A-Wish Israel and Tech to Peace, and is in proud collaboration with Secret Chord Ventures, J Ventures, Riverside FM, Fusion VC, Birthright Excel, J Impact, Leap, Google for Startups, and Hippo, and in media partnership with CTech. Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. We're going to be talking to Asaf Shamli, the co-founder and CEO of Browsi, but we're not going to be spending much time talking about Browsi because we have some really interesting insights from Asaf about his own journey as a leader, what it means to him to be a manager, to lead this company, to grow as a leader, less than 30 years old. It's a pretty awesome discussion, and I hope you enjoy. Asaf is a results-driven product director with an agile approach to develop, deliver, and market amazing products. With a technological background and passion for cutting-edge technology, he can lead a startup company to a winning product, and that's exactly what he's doing with Browsi. With direct and immediate relations with clients, it enabled him to conceive ideas and new products to provide better value to clients and create new and winning products and features to generate new revenue streams and a better world. Meet Asaf. Asaf Shamli, welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Thank you so much for being here. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm assuming you're joining me from the Browsi offices, right?
I am joining you from the Browsi offices here in the Ramat Gan in Tel Aviv. We also have offices in New York and in Japan as well. I'm very excited to be here.
Phenomenal. You're looking at, the new world of content, publishers, creator economy, and the way that software is not just eating the world, but it's also eating the content world. And so I'm excited to learn a little bit about Browsi and about your own background. Why don't we start a little bit about, Browsi? What is it that you do? And then we'll dive into a little bit more of Asaf and your current position and thinking process.
Yeah, of course. So Browsi, very, very high level. We are about 50 people, as I mentioned, Tel Aviv, in Ramat Gan, in the Burs area, actually. In New York and in Japan, overall 50 people. We started in 2017. We are growing very rapidly over the past year and so. We grew about 100% in employees and revenue as well in just last year. So we're very excited about that. Browsi is an AI company aiming to help digital publishers to improve their user experience and improving their online advertising revenues. The way that we are doing that is by tailoring a specific experience to each and every user in their content experience on the web. So if you're Michael and I, we're both very different people. We're reading and consuming content very, very differently. Browsi is here to help publishers maintain a very unique experience for each and every one of those users. Because you might be a very fast reader, I'm a very slow reader, so we need to get different experiences. So what Browsi is doing at the moment is taking the number of ads per page and changing them for you and for me, and taking the locations of the ad when they're loading those ads on the page to make sure that you're enjoying your experience as much as possible. And also the publisher can make and guarantee higher revenue by adopting the experience. One of the key things that Browsi were saying is that everything that we're doing nowadays is personalized, because you're going to get an ad for a couch because you're on the market for a new couch. I'm going to get an ad for a car because I'm on the market for a car, but the ad location, when it's going to load, where it's going to be on the page, it's going to be the same for you and I. And that doesn't make any sense because nothing else is the same for you and I because we're different users. And this is the premise of what Browsi is doing. We're just doing that for publishers right now, but we're planning to launch many other verticals by this year, next year, e-commerce and more in our future.
How did you get into this space? It's a really, the whole personalization space is incredible. And I think that it's worth a lot of people to stop for a second and rethink about what is our sort of human computer interaction. I know that a lot of ad tech companies get a lot of hate for simply being in the ad tech space. But the truth is that,
you give and you take, and as consumers, within in the information and the AI age, there's quite a few positives rather than negatives in a lot of these endeavors. And so it's interesting for me always how people get into these worlds and how you're thinking about it.
So I agree. I think that like anything else, it was my mistake. It wasn't my intention to reach that, to do this what I do. I started so my personal journey, we can maybe get to that later, but we started as a company that does ad tech. We started very, very differently, and one of our first clients were Hearst Media in the US. They're a very, very big media outlet in the US, and we noticed that our ads are functioning very well because we built this really small engine that is able to create something that's a bit more personalized for the users. And we noticed it at the beginning, and they also noticed it, and they have asked us to maybe try to build more features baked into that specific engine that we have built before. And we've done that, and we very quickly realized that we have something very major here, because we found out that the entire industry of ads is not focused on user experience. It's not focused on the quality of the ad itself, who's viewing the ad, for how many seconds they're viewing it. And this entire thing was really neglected by a lot of publishers, where advertisers will start looking for that, high quality paying, high grade ads. They don't want their ads to just be shown at the bottom of the page where 2 users a day maybe view their ads. They want to have their ads viewed, but at the same time, publishers want their ads to be non-intrusive and a good experience that users enjoy reading content. And we were able to mitigate that gap very quickly using our technology. And then very quickly, we just brought in a team of engineers and data scientists and start building our engine and neglect completely, the ad business. And that was the point where things started to be much more fun, because we moved from a company that doesn't care a lot about other than advertising to a company that actually cares about product and about technology. And I'm a product person. I'm a technology person originally. So for me, it was a very natural thing to do. And it was exciting. Suddenly we're excited about launches. Suddenly clients are staying in longer, and suddenly we're developing features that are actually contributing something. And that was about, 3.5 years ago. And that's history. Now we're building what we're building. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about yourself, Asaf. What has your journey been like? You're obviously so excited about what you're doing. You're even, I think I hear even more excitement about, the progress and the team building part of it, and even more so than what the company's actually doing, even though a lot of excitement there as well. Tell me how this whole thing fits into your own journey.
So I have a very interesting journey, I think. So I was in Shmonim in 8,200 in the IDF, in the Israel military. And obviously that opens a lot of doors. So when I was out of the army, it was 2014, I immediately started working at this ad tech company back then. And I was starting as a junior developer, whatever, QA, doing, a lot of just technical things, employee number 130 at the company. And I immediately loved what I've done, but I always had this appeal to doing bigger and stronger things. And I had plans to, go travel like everybody does and go, have other plans and go study and get educated in a higher degree. And I ended up doing none of that. And I met those 2 guys where we started Browsi from, and we started this, insane journey back in 2017. And ever since, it's just it's a snowball. And, you said I am excited about the progress that we have made, because doing things like this conversation right now makes me look back and think about the progress, something that you never get to do, right? When you're just running around all day. So I am pretty excited about the progress that we have made, specifically in the last year and a half, which has been amazing for us as a company. I never got to travel though. I never got to go to this big trip after you go from the army. I have a degree that I haven't able to complete in computer science and economics that I never finished. I had plans to do a lot of things. And I've done none of them because I was so invested in my company on one hand. On the other hand, it's been such an amazing journey. And I look at my calendar nowadays, it's just like packed with meetings and things to do all day. And then even at every evening, I get together with people from my company. You get drinks with your VP R&D and night out with those guys. And, I might have given up some other things in my life, which is, always a trade-off, but I gained so much, I learned so much, but also met so many people that are just amazing. I just love, being with them. I love coming to work. I hate to work hybrid because I love seeing the people that I'm working with. I love the people that I am with. And I think this is maybe the biggest part of what I'm doing.
Incredible. Now, 29 years old, managing quite a big operation.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about how, pretty quickly you have to adapt to, running a ship, not just a small team.
Right. So I think that I haven't adopted, if I'm being completely honest. I did not fully adopt. It's, you gotta be honest in those kind of things. And a year, 2 months ago, when I became the CEO, I was the product leader of the company before, and I became the CEO a year and a half ago. I kind of like focused mostly on building the product and building the sales operation and doing this and doing that. I wasn't really focusing on managing, and I was just doing things. I was talking to the one of the junior QA team members, or I was talking to one of the salespeople personally and tell them what to do. And I was, going behind their managers and I was doing things that you're not supposed to do as a leader. I wasn't giving my company a vision. I wasn't, driving the motivation. I was just focused on taking this huge ship and driving it towards success. And then it took me about 3 to 4 months, I believe, to understand that the most important thing that I can do is actually lead and get everyone together and create a vision and tell them, okay, this is what we're planning to do, not next month, but in a year time from now. And still to this day, I'm failing sometimes. I mean, I'm failing a lot actually in being able to manage and being able to tell them, okay, guys, this is, what we are trying to achieve in the long run. This is why a single client that fails maybe is not the most important thing. And this is why you should not take those things personally, because, back in those days, a client that would pay me $500 a month, which is very small for us, we would give a lot of attention to. We would really focus on that client and enjoy, doing that work, but also be very frustrated when those clients are not, working with us properly. And we were, spending time, we were utilizing resources improperly because I couldn't be that leader. And now it's very easy for me to say, no, this is not important. That's what's important. This is where we're going towards. This is what we're trying to achieve eventually. And those small stones, those small, hurdles in the meantime, they don't matter. We will get to our, vision where we will get to our goal eventually. It will just take more time maybe and learning more. And yeah, being 29 is maybe one of the best things ever to do that because I'm young, I'm single, I have no kids, it's very easy to do that on one hand. On the other hand, it's very hard because 90% of the people that I manage are older than me. My VP already is 40, my co-founder is 42. But I think that, a part of being young is also being able to say, I know that I'm young. I'm not acting otherwise. I'm not trying to avoid that or trying to act like I'm older because I'm not, it's funny. I'm still asking my dad to help me with insurance, even my position, I'm still asking him to help me with the small things that I have no idea how to do. Right.
You manage payrolls and clients and technology and bringing change to the world. Yet when it comes to these different life lessons that we need, like by getting car insurance or buying home insurance, they're like, okay, what do I do now? How do I go to the bank?
Oh my God,
how do I get an appointment?
You gotta help me. Dad, you gotta help me.
I love that.
I have no idea. Yeah.
So what have you found yourself most helpful in your own leadership journey? Because obviously one of the things that I'm most impressed by is the intentionality that you bring to the position, right? You're in one hand, I think you're very thankful for the experience and for the learning opportunities. And the other hand, you're very intentional with the way that you're going about it, getting feedback, improving, knowing what your limits are, knowing how people may perceive you, not avoiding it. What have you found most helpful in your own journey and in sort of incremental improvements on your own leadership?
So I think there's 2 things that I've set myself as goals, maybe during that growing as a leader, as the manager. The first thing is that I feel like you always know what is the right decision to make. And it's all about decision, right? I mean, we're getting decisions all day long. You're sitting in a sales meeting to get a decision. You're sitting on a roadmap prioritization meeting and you need to get a decision. There's a lot of decisions needs to be made. You probably make 100, you as well. You make 100 decisions a day, 200 decisions per day. And you usually know in your gut what is the right decision to make. And the problem is that sometimes this right decision needs to go for a lot of process and chain of thought to make it, happen, and to understand this is the right thing that you want to do. So one of the things that I've learned is not just to go through that gut feeling, just to yell out what I want to make the decision, or make everyone just do what I wanted them to do. Even if eventually we're going to get to still the same decision that I wanted to be in the first place, I'm letting my team get a decision by themselves. I will steer them, I will lead them, I will try to convince them that what I think is the best, but eventually they're going to have to decide. And not trying to decide for my managers is maybe the most important thing that I've done over the past 6-7 months, to understand that they need to decide themselves, and they will be wrong. They would make mistakes, and I know that. But they still would have to make those mistakes themselves. I think that the second thing that I always felt like is that it's fine. It's fine to let go of things. I think that this is maybe
I can feel the challenge of that statement. Yeah. I could see it in your eyes for whoever is not watching but listening.
Oh my God, yes. My team's going to obviously listen to this afterwards. They're going to listen to this and they're going to say, oh my God, he's never letting go of anything.
They don't know what you are letting go of. They don't know how you're holding yourself back.
Yeah, oh my God, they have no idea. You're right about that. So no, actually, I think that the most important thing is to really let go of a lot of things that needs to be let go. Specifically, clients that we need to really say that they're not the right clients for us. Employees that are not good enough for our company. It's very hard because you love those people. And usually you even love people that are not good for your organization, but sometimes you have to let go of people that are driving you, not driving you forward and holding you back. Letting go of mistakes you have made, because it happens. And just a second ago, I was talking about those decisions, and most of the time you know what the right decision is. And even if you think you know it, it's not going to be the right decision all the time, right? So you're going to have to eventually be able to, own your mistakes and let go. Let go. You were wrong. Let's see how we can fix that. Try not to dwell back on those mistakes. I do try to learn from those mistakes. I think that's a huge thing. So I think I was told before we started is that I was having a really interesting conversation with my girlfriend last night. I was telling her, I'll tell you, I'm going to do this podcast, and it's about leaders. And she, was out of spite, kind of like trying to annoy me and say, "Are you a leader?" And she was a bit sarcastic about that. And I was like, you know what? The truth is that I'm not sure about that. Because what makes you a leader? That's maybe the biggest question that I'm asking myself. And out of this conversation between me and her late last night, one of the things that we eventually got out with is that the fact that not all leaders, not all managers, work well with all employees and all people. And a part of that is maybe to understand that the people that you're working with need to also understand who they're working with as well. And this is a huge part of it. And my management style doesn't work for everyone, and this is fine. And other people's style doesn't work for me, which is, again, fine. We have to be able to do this understanding, to be able to let go of those people and let go of those, ways of management that are not fitting us just because other people are, asking us to do that. I don't know. This was my late conversation with my this.
Again, going back to the intentionality, 29 years old. I mean, I'm 26. I have way more to learn.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're already, but I don't know many 29-year-olds who get to be asking themselves and their significant others these questions, as sort of the late night conversations.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty tremendous because, you're going to have so many more years of being a leader in whatever you do. And it sounds like this is ingrained in who you are. And so I think that what I'm getting excited and inspired by here is not just the awesome company that you're building and the innovativeness behind your solutions, which is pretty cool. But what's really cool is sort of these questions that you're asking, and the fact that you're holding yourself accountable to how are you leading yourself, your team, your employees, the clients. And I think that's really the big lesson that I'm taking here is asking these questions. There's imperfection forever, but being able to hold yourself accountable across 360 degrees. They tell us in the Army 360-degree leadership.
Yeah,
so it's
360.
Pretty, exactly. Asaf, thank you so much. This was awesome. I really appreciate your time and energy.
Thank you so much, Michael, for the opportunity. Thank you so much for having me here. It was a pleasure, really, getting to know how you do it from behind the scenes.
Thank you.